It seems like every town in the Northland has its own unique history, and Ashland is no different. Underneath the streets of Ashland used to be an entire city, but due to a tragic accident and years of deterioration, the underground streets were filled in. Fox 21's Julia Russell shows us how history can still be seen today.
All it takes is a walk down the back stairway.
But back here,
to find what's left of Ashland's so-called underground city.
It was dark and dreary, and yeah, there was no lighting, for sure.
If you look at Ashland now, it's pretty flat, but it didn't start out that way. In the 1800s, the town was uneven and fairly swampy.
Ashland was built on ravines.
When building the city, early settlers created structures that matched the natural landscape, so some businesses ended up being in the bottom of a ravine.
Instead of having this deep ravine for people to walk through or to drive through or get back and forth with their horses and buggies, they started to put boardwalks in.
The boardwalks were similar to railroad bridges and were built level to the top of Ashland's rolling ravines, so buildings in the valleys were underneath Ashland's main street.
And pretty soon, when you got to about 100 years, the bridges that were underneath the road started to collapse.
For 100 years, that's simply the way Ashland was.
It took some heavy traffic. We had the trolley line, we had a bus line, we had trucks that came down this street, so it was pretty sturdy.
It was a tragic accident, triggering the city to eliminate the boardwalk streets.
We did have a snowplow go through, and that was when the city became really aware that something had to be done.
In 1980, the lower level shops were boarded up and the once deep ravines were filled with sand, leaving the now basements of Ashland's oldest buildings with doors and windows leading nowhere.
And it gives you just a little bit of an eerie feeling knowing that people could go out those walls, and now it's completely enclosed.
There's only a handful of buildings left with lingering history hidden in the basement, two of them being Ashland's museum and the new location of the Schwamigan Food Co-op. So next time you're driving down Ashland's main street, you'll think of the unplanned history that's left stories and hidden treasures buried and boarded up.
It really wasn't a system, it was just the way it ended up being built.
With photojournalist Devin Elmore, Julia Russell, KQDS Fox 21.